Sup, guys. My name is Ryu for the YugiohCouncil. Welcome to Coffee Time, your Monday morning discussion video released in the evening, filmed outside because I'm busy during the day. But I just want to say thanks for tuning in as always. And before we get into today's topic of what Konami really needs to do when it comes to the ban list, like how they need to approach it and whatnot, we're going to go over the major 4 channels I run and the upcoming 5th, and why videos are being slowed down here on the YugiohCouncil just for a little bit, just fair warning. So I'm actually currently still under the weather, while also trying to still pump out a album for YouTube sometime next year, and trying to get all my writing out for it, because it's going to be a long process, and it's going to have its own YouTube channel. I've vaguely talked about it. Sometimes I talked about it more than I do now, but just in layman's term, there's going to be a music channel. It's going to have me on it with my guys, and it's going to be fucking amazing because we're very talented people, and we have never really, the guys I'm working with, we've never really done music together, and when we do music together, it's going to be fucking amazing. That's all I really want to say about it. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribing to those smaller channels, the network, the Council Network. You can find all that in the description. RyuAvalonGaming, the Pokemon Council, and SuperCouncilGaming, which probably will come back in the fall when I actually have time to record for that channel, and same for Jonathan. But the Pokemon Council, we've been pushing a lot of content there because, in all honesty, it's just the mindset currently with Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels like it's dying off. Pokemon is celebrating its 20-year anniversary. I've always been a fan of Pokemon, and we're just seeing that channel flourish. You know, from it's starting to rise like a little plant. It's starting to rise, so you want to water and nourish it as much as we want to nourish this channel here. So, that's not to say I'm leaving the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. We're going to go into that in a second. RyuAvalonGaming is kind of the same boat, and same with the network. The network's got a really busy week ahead of it because of all the Comic-Con stuff that just happened. So what is going on with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council? Well, I want to say next year is going to probably be our biggest, craziest, nuttiest year. It'll probably be the year after, to be fair, because the year that I start the YouTube project, it has a code name, but we're not going to release that right now. It's the music project. Once that happens and I'm on tour for that whole music project, that's when I'll be popping up at random nationals, random regionals, and I'll make it known where I am so you guys can actually come out and we can meet up and play, games, and I'll put it on the channel, and it'll be fucking amazing. So that's the future of this channel. The future is almost now, but I've been under the weather because I came back from Australia, and it was cold out there, hot out here, and then obviously I got fucking sick because of it. And recently, all I've wanted to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is play motherfucking Blue Eyes, and I think most people are waiting, and that's what inspired this video, to play motherfucking Blue Eyes, because we're waiting for that ban list to drop like I'm waiting for this rain to kill off this goddamn heat. It is what it is. So let's go to today's topic and not talk about updates anymore for the next 10 minutes. What does Konami really need to do to better the game, to get you interested once again, to make this ban list count? Because this is going to be a very crucial ban list. They don't have to do major changes, but they have to get you to buy the next set, the Dark Illusions, in about a week. About a week from now, a week from Friday. And if they can't, that set's going to bomb, and it's going to be like not the Secret Forces, Shadow Specters, where the set's not that hot, it doesn't sell that much. You want it still to sell like Breakers of Shadows. That's pretty much the end game. That's what you want when you look at how much was sold. Whether or not people are saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying because the online simulators are going away and Konami's trying to release their own is the whole different debacle. The main thing that Konami needs to fucking focus on is making a quality ban list. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be high quality. It needs to have time and effort put into it. There were a lot of problems with the game right now that Konami is not looking at. Now, most people used to argue that Heavy Storm needed to come back. That's not really a thing anymore because we have Twin Twister. So it's kind of we've kind of hit that medium balance of I'm able to take her out, 2 of them, and we have all this new support coming out that basically banishes out shit. So we can deal with it. We have ways of dealing with it, and I think we're okay the way it is right now, depending on the deck you're playing. But one thing that has been very, 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 very impotent is when new decks are trying to pop up, and Cosmos, Monarchs, PK Fire are the only things really being played in that meta, pool. I think if we had a format like we did a couple years ago where you didn't know what the next deck was going to be, and basically the creativity started sparking a bit, I think that would still be the way to probably lead to it. That would probably be the way that Konami should go about it. And what I'm trying to say is they need to get people hyped up about Dark Magician Blue Eyes. And some people may say the MMA decks, the support of it, or Buster Blader, is starting to ruin the game and tarnish what it is. No, it's actually bringing the foundation of what the game originally was. It's getting you excited for those original decks that when you were like 10 years old and you stayed in this game long enough, you got to play. It's bringing back those old veteran players who have not played Yu-Gi-Oh! In ages and showing them new mechanics. And that's actually a good thing to focus on, but at the same time they need to please everyone as much as possible. And I know that's impossible. Trust me, I know that is goddamn impossible. I try every day to please people, but I can't, so I just try to please myself as best of my ability as I can. But Konami needs to take a good hard look at the game and say what really needs to be shaken up. And we could sit here, we can nitpick, and we could say it's Cosmos or it's Monarchs. It's the speed of the game. It has always been the speed of the game. It's always been that you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Mentality. The speed of the game got handled to a degree when Upstart Goblin went down, but right now, what it really comes down to is you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! When you can't break out of it, what do? You just scoop phase. You can't make a comeback, you scoop phase. And the easiest counter to this is using Kaijus. Easiest counter to this is using floodgates. But here's the thing, and this has always been a problem that Konami has never ever touched upon. When you hit a floodgate, you still had to hit the problem deck, otherwise, and obviously there's going to be other problem decks that pop up because they're newer, they have all these fun little tools, but when you hit those like floodgates that really did control the decks that have all those you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Situations, then it's kind of hard to really find the balance there. Because let's be honest, Konami's never ever going to balance the game. It's not going to happen. It's near impossible with over like 10,000 something cards to really just sit here and say, hey, we're going to balance the game out. It's not going to happen. All we could do is hope for the goddamn best and then just take the worst. That's pretty much it. But looking at it from afar, you could still see there's a few things they could do to really alter it. And you could say the Dark Illusions and following sets may actually start bringing that game level, the power creep level down, even though that Yang Zing are really primed to be that next meta deck, as many people as don't want to hear it from me. Metamorpho, Yang Zing, I call them Metamorpho, I know they're like Metalfoes. That with Yang Zing is a pretty stupid deck by itself. Yang Zing is finally getting the spotlight it always deserved because of their new counter trap card, their new synchro. It adds a whole new level and dimension to the deck. And you still have Cosmos and Monarchs, and yes, I know the Blue Eyes players are probably screaming at me, you don't know what you're talking about, but Blue Eyes is just right under all these decks, and it's same kind of thing for Raid Raptors. They're right under all these other decks. And all your answers, your kaijus and whatnot, usually these decks can just recover, especially Yang Zing. They could recover out pretty quick. And I'm not knocking Blue Eyes, but if Konami really wants the Dark Magician players to play their deck outside just nostalgia players, and you really want to see it out there, and you want to have that format of Blue Eyes versus Dark Magician, you have all these other issues that still have to be dealt with way before, because Dark Magician is pretty much under Blue Eyes, or on par with Blue Eyes, I want to say. They're kind of around the same level. One is more aggressive, one is more, I'm going to play a little defensive with all my trap cards. So there's a lot of things. They kind of reflect on each other. Yin and the Zing. Yin and the Yang. Why am I saying Zing? I don't even know. But to the point that I'm trying to make here, if they really want these decks to, take place and be known like they were when the game first started, they have a lot of work to really be done, because you have Yang Zing coming out with all their support, all that hype. People are going to want to play it. It's going to be great. Metal Foes are going to be low rarity. They're going to be cheap to pick up. People who already picked up Yang Zing, who are dedicated Yang Zing players, are going to be able to pick up the rest of that. Maybe merge the decks together if they want to play that style, and they're going to have a fantastic time with it. It's going to be great. Magi Specters are another, deck that can easily counter something like Blue Eyes, or if Cosmos and Monarchs were out of the picture, then Magi Specters could rise as well if they remain untouched. They could be that pendulum deck of the upcoming format. Then you have something like Frogs that if you combine it with Mermail, which just happened in OCG, you never know what you'll get result-wise, but it could be something fantastic and amazing that is going to really take off. It could finally give them that defense that the deck really does need, instead of just going, I'm going to make this push, and if I can't OTK, I'm going to fall flat on my face. That's usually what it feels like when I'm playing Mermails, but maybe that's just my experience. And when it comes down to it, I'm still excited to see what the ban list holds, but at the same time, I couldn't give a rat's ass if we're being completely honest, because it's really not going to affect me. Because if I don't like the ban list, I could just make deck profiles for you guys, not really play the game IRL, and just focus on Pokemon and Council Network stuff and RyuAvalonGaming. I have that freedom. And that's not a bad freedom, and I'm not trying to put this channel down saying, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to be here as long as Yu-Gi-Oh's alive. As long as you guys want me here, I'm going to be here every single day. I like how the wind blows right when I say that. Kind of a signal thing, go figure. I can't even talk right, I haven't had coffee yet. When I get to the point of everything, sometimes it gets very frustrating with Konami. It gets frustrating with YouTube because some people just don't realize I don't buy boxes. I buy the structured decks to show you guys, hey, this is the opening of it. That's the only reason I buy it. But I tend to stay away from Konami product because I don't believe in what they do. I don't believe that they care enough outside of just wanting my goddamn money to really make a fine product. You know, like an overall product, game-wise and everything. Johnny buys boxes because he enjoys it. That's not an knock to Johnny. I love the guy. He's amazing. But that's who, you know, buys the boxes. And I'm just sitting there recording it and putting stuff on eBay for him. That's the premises of everything when it comes down to it. But, end of the day, everything aside, people are hyped about Pokemon. Whether you like it or not, people are hyped about Pokemon. Konami has to compete with that because Pokemon has a trading card game. And that shit is lucrative. That shit is nice. That shit pulls in nostalgia. That's why we're getting Dark Magician and Blue Eyes right now. And if Konami really wants those sale figures to go higher than Pokemon, that's my advice. You need to focus on those two damn decks, getting them out there. Maybe it'll happen without it, but I seriously doubt we're going to get a major ban list. It'll probably be the one after, because this is just going to be Worlds, and whatever tops Worlds may end up getting hit, may not. Who knows? It's kind of a little strange what'll happen at Worlds, because you never know. I mean, Blue Eyes is going to be at full support at Worlds. I think Cosmos will have most of their stuff at Worlds. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. I know Monarchs are definitely going to have full support at Worlds, and that's a deck that Blue Eyes is going to have a hard time going up against if you really wanted to win Worlds. That's just my 2 cents. You guys share yours, and I'll see you next week for coffee time, but I'll see you tomorrow for a brand new video. I'm Ryu for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys on the next video. As always, if you enjoy the content and you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you're already subscribed to this channel and you're not subscribed to my smaller channels, maybe check them out. See if you like what we do there, just like we do here. And if you do, give it a subscribe. Support it. Simple as that. And I'll see you guys in the next one as always. Now I'm going to go edit Pokemon Go Episode 2. See you guys later. Peace.